Hello, friends. Welcome. You know, the news and media, social media and stuff have been all abuzz about great concerns with regard to some comments that the incoming President Trump has made regarding land grabs. And this morning I put out a video about how we have to embrace the opposing sides and the opposing opinions and those people that have them, because we can't back away and close ourselves off to people who don't think like we do. They're there for a reason, and we have to open our minds and our hearts and embrace them and ask questions and open dialogues and, see what happens. And so I thought I would start it out by talking to you about something that I saw happen this week. Several times there were some news reports about Trump saying he's going to take over Canada, Mexico, Iceland or Greenland, one of those lands, and Panama Canal. And I guess, time will tell. But the world has a say in who owns what land. And the American people do too, because, we're the ones that voted him in, and we can, we'll make decisions for ourselves because we have the power of the vote, the power of the people. But let's talk about these land grabs. First of all, he and Justin Trudeau verified that it was just a snarky, comedic remark that he made. He has no intentions of taking over Canada. He's, got more important things to do. And that it was just a joke. And there were memes out about it, and Trump put out some silly memes about it as a joke. And, there's a lot of people, CNN, NBC, MSNBC, and all of those yoo-hoots that are taking it seriously when he puts the flag on top, the Canadian thing where he was touting it, and he made that silly meme because he's got a sick sense of humor, and he made that after the comment. It was funny, but he has no intentions of doing that. Mexico, he has no intentions of owning Mexico. What he does have intentions of doing is working very closely with all of the governments in South America to put an end to the cartels and the corrupt militaries, because they are the reason that nobody can have a decent life on the south side of the border, and why they're all flooding our borders and coming in here. So he doesn't want Mexico, he doesn't want South America, he wants to work with them, because if they have a way to create better lives, lift up their people, create better lives, robust commerce, safe communities, people will want to stay home instead of coming over here. It's part of fixing the broken immigration system. Root causes, if you will, which is what our failed border czar, did. Not do was, get to the root cause. And the root cause is corrupt political bodies in charge of these countries, dangerous, corrupt military, and of course the cartel. So, these things have to happen. It's the only way that we're going to get this in hand. We got to start there. He doesn't want those countries. He just simply wants to help them, and he has offered his help and support. And he's already had meetings with the new president of Mexico, to start a dialogue and put some ideas out there and get a plan in place on how we're going to do that. And also so that she can prepare, because we're going to send those cartels packing, people. My table is tipping over. As far as the land thing, Iceland, Greenland, I know why he wants to do it. It's purely a business move. But, those landers, they have a say in it. It's their country. There's no reason for us to have it other than money, and the American people are going to get a say in that. He tried to broker a deal to buy that nation, that island, in his previous administration, and it didn't work. So I doubt it's going to work again. And we as Americans are not going to stand by and let him grab land and take over places simply for the sake of money and oil. We're not going to do that. I love what's happening to our country. I think that we are moving in a great direction. But being in a position to step back and say, yeah, I see why people are scared to death. He's making all of these crazy statements and it's scaring people, and I see why they're scared and concerned. I see where they're pitching their spin, because it looks like he's pulling a Putin. Putin believes that even though a deal was brokered a long time ago and the Ukraine became an independent state, an independent nation, and they want to stay that way, even though that deal was brokered, Putin believes he still owns that property and he wants it back. And the Panama Canal kind of parallels that. The Panama Canal was built by Americans, and tens of thousands of Americans lost their lives tragically building the Panama Canal for Americans, by Americans, okay? And in the Carter administration, they sold it to Panama in an effort to help the Panamanians lift up their people, give them a future, a strong, robust commerce, and help them lift up that country. But there were conditions in that contract. You can buy it for $1, but you will not overtax us. You will not let China have a stay or a say or a foothold. And they have violated that contract. So Trump wants the Panama Canal back. They're charging us like a 300 or 400% tariff. I guess it's really crazy. And, if you're against him taking the Panama Canal back, think about it like this. When you purchase a home, a vehicle, a chunk of property, whatever, okay? You sign a contract that you will accept responsibility in all ways for that that property, be it a car, land, or house, whatever, a boat or whatever. You are accepting the responsibility, but you, in return, can claim ownership to it, but you must keep up the taxes, you must keep up the property, you must drive the car in a lawful manner, or law enforcement can seize that vehicle, because driving is a privilege, not a right. Having a car is a privilege, not a right. And if you don't keep that house up, if it becomes a safety hazard for you or your community, it can be seized. It can be condemned. The law, the counties, the state, law enforcement, the banks that mortgage that for you, they can repossess that property. They can take that car away because you can't violate that contract. Even though you bought it, you put money down on it, you signed on the dotted line, you have the title, you're responsible for that property as the owner would be. But if you default on the payments, or you default on keeping the property up safe and driving the car safely, keeping the property up, etc., you will lose the privilege of having those things, and you will no longer be the owner of that property because you violated the contract. It's the same thing with the Panama Canal. We sold it to them in an effort to help this nation lift itself up, but there were conditions. They have violated those conditions, and every day that goes by, China is gaining more and more of a foothold in the Panama Canal and owning part of the Panama Canal and having a lawful say in the Panama Canal. This is completely against the contract that was set forth. So they're in violation of this contract. When Trump comes in, if he decides to go pursue this, it will be pursued by way of, you are in violation of this contract. And because you are in violation, we have a right to seize the property. Just like if you don't make your payments on your house, the bank can seize it. You don't drive the car lawfully, the po-po can take it from you. Okay? It's the same damn thing. So, Panama Canal, yeah, he's going to pursue that. And they're either going to knock off charging us so much for tariffs when they don't charge any other nation. They charge a pittance to other nations for tariffs. And because they have allowed China to come in. And you don't want China in there because China is our mortal enemy. They're communists. They enslave people. They're horrible, horrible, icky people. Their government is, not their citizens. Their citizens are helpless to their government. But we don't want them any closer to us than they already are. So I could see that. So aside from the land grabs, I was wondering, does anybody know what life was like prior to taxes coming into play? Because American people, when we get angry and mad, like let's say you get pulled over by a cop and you're drunk and you're stupid and you stand up and you point your finger at that cop and you say, "Don't you treat me bad. You can't do this. I pay your wages. I'm a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen and I pay my taxes, pay your wages." You go to your city council meeting. "My taxes pay your wages. You put that stupid sign up on my street and I'm going to vote you out of office." And blah, blah, blah. We use the fact that we pay a lot of taxes, that pay a lot of wages for a lot of government and law enforcement officials, that we use it as leverage every day. We all do. All of us say that. "Well, I'm a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen. I pay my taxes. You can't do that to me. I pay your wages." We do that all the time. Now, when Trump comes into office and he flips that back to tariffs and there's little or no taxes in play, what are we going to use for leverage? If we don't have taxes, not saying that I want the taxes gone too. I want more of my paycheck, less taxes. But what are we going to do? What are we going to say when we're shaking our finger at them? If we don't say, "Well, my taxes pay your wages." Well, that's not true. It wouldn't be true if the taxes go away, and their wages get paid by other means. What do we do? So that was a thought. So anyway, yeah, I want you to understand and be compassionate and emphasize with those that are genuinely scared that Trump is trying to run the world, and he's trying to run it like Napoleon, and he's trying to pull a Putin. I get it. I see why they're scared, why they're concerned. And I think that we need to not insult them or diminish their feelings. I think that we need to genuinely be concerned with what's going on. Because, I don't want any Americans to be scared about the results of our past election here last month. I don't want people to be scared for the future of our nation. I want them to embrace what's happening and understand that they're going to benefit to some degree, regardless of who they voted for. But we also have to be reasonable and look back and go, "Hey, that does sound a little weird, don't you think?" Anyway, give me your thoughts. Smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And until next time, do good. Be good. Pay those taxes. And don't let them repossess your car.